The world of Stardew Valley is actually so much bigger than the in-game experience itself, so I thought it would be fun to put together a video where I was able to share with you a bunch of Stardew related resources, content, and just overall cool stuff that you might want to go check out. I'm JunoMoB for those of you who may not know me yet, and here on my channel I share a lot of tips, tricks, and my overall opinions on Stardew things, so if that's something that interests you, I would love it if you would subscribe. Now let's get into the video. Have you ever wanted to create your own personal Stardew Valley portrait like the NPCs have in the game? Maybe you've even seen some profile pictures on social media like this one my friend Mellonz has and thought, wow, that's pretty cool. Well, by heading to a site called jazzyb.itch.io, you too can display your love for Stardew Valley in the form of a personalized portrait. And better yet, you can do it for free and with no artistic skill at all. By clicking on their Stardew Valley character creator and running the game, you'll be able to then create a portrait using a pretty large selection of customizable features. You can choose from options like your face shape, eyes, hair, and so much more to make a character that feels like you. You can even add fun accessories that you would be able to put on in the game, like the trash can hat, some super in style shades, and of course you'll be able to color all of the features to your liking. I will say that this is where it's slightly lacking as the color options are kind of slim, but overall this is a super cool and fun resource for you to check out. Not to mention, they also have made a mask version as well if that's more your speed, although it is somewhat lacking as well in the differentiation from the original, so just keep that in mind. And once you're done perfecting your portrait, you can choose to keep the background white, or you can toggle the background off so that it's transparent and add one of your own in a different program to complete the look. Something like Canva or Adobe Express might be a good option for this step. If you are a bit artsy though and want to make your portrait more personalized, you can do what I did to make this profile picture you may be familiar with at this point and draw it completely from scratch using a pixel brush in the app Procreate or really any drawing software for that matter. Definitely not easier, but that is an option. Also, the pixel brush I used was actually a free set that I'll be sure to link in the description if you're interested. I might also suggest that if you want to use the website to make your portrait, you could also just add that into a drawing software after the fact and adjust the colors and such from there as well. Now, going along with this, some other fans of the game have created a Stardew Valley bio maker of sorts where you're able to upload your portrait, some info about you, likes and dislikes. I think you get the idea. I'll link the one I found in the description, but basically the gist of it is that for each category, you'll either type directly into the sheet or upload a corresponding picture from the wiki, and if you're not familiar with how to do that, I'll quickly show you now. By heading to StardewValleyWiki.com, you'll be able to search for the item you're looking for in the upper right corner, and when you've arrived at the page with the image you want, you can press on it and you will then be brought to the image source page. By right-clicking, you can save the image to your computer, and from there it's all pretty self-explanatory. You can also do this on your phone by holding down on the images and saving them to your camera roll if that's something that makes more sense for you. Then, for each category, you can go through and upload your images, and voila! A personalized Stardew Valley profile to share with your friends. If any of you do plan on making one yourself, I for one would love to see them, so if you want to join and share them on my Discord, which I will link below, or tag me on Instagram, I would absolutely love that. As I just talked about, and I'm sure the majority of you already know, Stardew Valley does have a wiki, and aside from seeing and downloading Stardew images like we did to make the personalized profiles, this website is packed with almost everything you could need to know about questions you have in the game. I won't go too much into detail because I feel like a wiki is pretty self-explanatory and the majority of players are already very familiar with it, but if you are somebody who hasn't heard or explored it yet, simple questions you may have like how much does something sell for or where is an NPC at a certain time can all be answered here with a quick search. And as a quick disclaimer, with 1.6 only recently being released, you may want to proceed carefully as to not get spoiled. Now, the Stardew Valley wiki is great for learning about the game, but if you want to plan some things out for your farm, for example, I have a great resource for you. By heading to stardew.info, you'll be brought to a Stardew planner where you can plan out your farm tile by tile. Whether you're on the standard farm, the beach farm, or even the new Mellonz farm, you'll be able to place any building, tree, pathway, or craftable to plan out the layout of your space. This also includes if you want to put down crops and see how that layout will work, and you can also toggle on different features like the ability to see what area your sprinkler will cover or what areas are untillable. Another cool feature it has is the ability to see your farm in different seasons, and something cool that I believe was a more recent feature added was the ability to plan out even more areas than just your farm. You can now plan out how you'll design interiors like sheds, any version of your farmhouse, your greenhouse, your barn or your coops, and even the quarry and your Ginger Island farm are now plannable sections as well. I've definitely used this in the past for some of my saves to try and get inspo from a top-down view where you can see everything without having to spend hours in game going back and forth before deciding on a final layout. Also, if you're just somebody who likes design, this might be fun as its own game of sorts outside of the Stardew planning itself. And if you do decide to try this out for yourself, you can choose to donate to the creator of the planner here, and there's also an FAQ underneath if you get stuck. With this, I also want to mention another Stardew planner that is quite similar if Stardew.info isn't for you for whatever reason. Easy to remember, you can find it at StardewPlanner.com, and the capabilities are quite similar, it's just laid out a bit differently. Some of the features I do think are slightly more user-friendly, other things I would prefer in the first option, so I suggest trying them both out for yourself if you want to see which one works better for you. And just as a final few notes here, this one is also updated to the most recent version of Stardew Valley, so the new farm type and items will also be available, and there is once again a donate section to support the creator of the planner. Now, if you're like me and enjoy doing the daily New York Times Wordle, you may like this next one. Pufferdle was created by a fan of the game just last year, I believe, and it brings together the fishing aspect of Stardew with the guessing game of Wordle. Each round begins with reeling in a fish in the same way you would in-game. Now, before I continue, I know so many people dislike the fishing mechanics in Stardew, and if that's you and you don't even want to deal with having to reel in a fish in your leisure time but still want to try out the game, you can click the settings icon in the top right and toggle on the skip fishing game to be directly brought to the next section of the game. I do just want to say though that the reeling in part is helpful to know which fish it is, as you can assume some things from its behavior, but back to the game. On the left, you'll be presented with 55 Stardew fish, and on the right you'll see a table with 5 sections that represent different traits of the fish, being the season, weather, or location they can be caught in, with the final section noting if you were correct. From there, you'll just simply try to guess which fish it is, as your guesses will be a guide to what traits you guessed correctly based on the color. Gray indicates that there is no overlap in the traits your current guess has, yellow indicates there is some overlap but it's not an exact match, and green indicates that the fish you guessed exactly matches the target fish in that trait. Also, the fish listed on the left will show their traits by default, I believe, but if you do want to challenge yourself, you can toggle that off as well. Overall, a super fun idea and well executed. Speaking of games, the creator of Stardew Valley actually came out with a board game based off of the game itself, and it definitely gives the same cozy-esque vibes, as it is actually a cooperative type game where you work together to restore the valley and save it from Joja. The game comes with tons of cards and tiles with some adorable artwork, and all of these pieces work together as you farm, fish, friend, and find all kinds of different resources in the mines to fulfill your grandpa's goals and restore the community center. I'm actually somebody who is super into board games, like more than the average person, and I do think that the game as a whole is actually really well made, and the overall components are well done as a reflection of the video game itself while still being its own thing. I also want to add here that this is a game you can play with up to 4 players, but you can also play with as little as 1 player, which I think is pretty cool. I was lucky enough to get my hands on one last year, as the board game had its 3rd printing since release, and unfortunately it is fully sold out on their main website. However, if you are looking to get one for yourself, don't lose all hope, as like I said, there have been multiple prints and you may still be able to find a copy online or in your local game shops. Not to mention, I found that you can also try out the game for free online at tabletopia.com if you really do want to experience the gameplay for yourself. Now, another physical product that was only recently released from the creator of Stardew himself was the official Stardew Valley Cookbook. It has over 50 unique recipes, all of which are based on food within the game, and the illustrations throughout the book itself are incredibly endearing. I do have to admit that a lot of these recipes are kind of out there, as many use ingredients that you may not be able to find at any old grocery store, but the novelty of it alone is enough for me to just love this product, and I'm sure you will too. If you've been watching my YouTube shorts, you may have seen the video where I was actually able to do a giveaway for a copy, so a big congratulations to Madison, who won a while back. If you are looking to get one for yourself, the cookbook still seems to be available in many different bookstores and such, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, and more, and an ebook version is available as well. So if this is something you're interested in, you should be able to get your hands on one. This being said, if you can't afford one but really want to try out a recipe, or maybe you just want to get a sneak peek before purchasing, prior to the book's release, Concerned Ape actually shared the recipe for Lucky Lunch from the book for free online, so I'll be sure to put that in the description as well. Now, going along the same lines of physical Stardew goodies, there are 3 sites that are official carriers of Stardew Valley merch: the Yeti, Fangamer, and Sanchi. All 3 sites carry some super cute items like plushies, pins, vinyl soundtracks, clothing, a collector's cassette tape, and so much more. And some of you may be thinking, why would they be selling soundtracks for a video game? Well, if you've sat down and played Stardew, you will know just how incredible the music actually is. In fact, it is so well liked that there is currently a Stardew Valley concert touring with a live orchestra until September of this year, traveling all over the world from North America all the way to Asia. Now, not to be the bearer of bad news, but this concert, as of when I'm making this, is fully sold out. But we can't lose hope, as they have extended the tour already once in order to cater to more people, and I know I saw many South American fans begging for the concert to make its way to Brazil, with, I believe, Concerned Ape responding with something like he would like to make that happen in the future or something along those lines. I will put his response up on screen if I can find it. But all of that being said, I think we can at least feel some hope in another concert in the future. Which brings me to my final Stardew related stuff for this video, the Stardew Valley Discord. This is a fantastic place for updates on things like the concert I just mentioned, big game updates, and just an overall nice place to meet others who also love Stardew Valley. I am not a super active person on Discord, but my interactions within this Discord have been super kind and helpful when needed. And if you want to join a smaller Discord, my Discord is always open as well, as I mentioned previously. It's just a lot more chill and low-key, as a heads up. So that's the video. I hope you learned about some things that interested you, and I'm happy that I could spend all of this time yapping away about all of this cool stuff that has been made for the community, some of it even by people like you and me within the Stardew community itself. And just as a reminder, everything I referenced in the video will be linked in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!